I just finished putting an alternator on this Carrier 7300 X4 unit here, and just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and teach you how to do it so you can save yourself a bunch of money. Also maybe talk about some quick other little reefer tips here that could save you money, save you from maybe having a freight claim, save you some downtime. All those things are money. So let's talk about this alternator here. So I had a load on here, and just as I was getting ready to unload it, the yellow light comes on and it says alternator not charging. So had an alternator failure here. Now luckily I was about to get unloaded, so it'll run for a good long while off the battery. So it's not like something you have to panic about and drive right to a shop, but you definitely don't want to let it go too long. And if you're pulling reefer trailers, little tip for you, get yourself a nice long pair of jumper cables, like a pair of 20 footers, a nice pair. If you ever have an alternator go down, you can hook up to your truck batteries, run up to the reefer battery, and keep that thing charged there. You can save a load. You know, if you're say you're out in the middle of Wyoming, hundreds of miles from a reefer repair shop, it might just save your whole load. And another little tip about most reefer alternators, it's hard to just go to AutoZone or something and pick one up, because if you look here, there's a little sticker. It says CCW. Most of your alternators for reefer trailers are counterclockwise. As far as I know, they all are, but I don't know. There could be ones that aren't. But all the Carriers I have definitely are. I haven't changed one on any of my Thermo Kings yet, so but I presume that there would be also. It's a really easy job. Let's take a look inside the unit here once. I'm standing on the tailgate of my pickup truck. If you were just standing on the catwalk of your tractor, maybe you want to disconnect and move it over just a little bit, you can do it right from the catwalk of your tractor. So this is something, if you carry one with you, you could save yourself a lot of money. So all in on this, I bought an alternator, I bought a new pulley for it, and I'll tell you why, and I bought a hinge pin for this door right here, because we lost the hinge pin, and these doors are expensive. I didn't want it to fall off. So all in for that, I was at 274 bucks. Now if I wanted to take some time, shop around online, I might get one cheaper, but I just like to get this thing fixed and get it back into service, because time is money. Let's take a look inside the reefer unit here. It's got the side panel door open over here. We're right above the control panel. This will be the same for a 7300 or a 7500. Most of your units actually. Here's your alternator right here. Here's what you need to do this job. You need a 10mm wrench to take this nut off, positive terminal. You need an 8mm over here for the negative terminal. You need a 1/2 inch socket for that. That's your adjustment to where you can adjust the tightness of the belt. And then up here, oh shoot, I can't remember what that was. Is that, I don't know, it might have been 3/4. It's a pretty big nut up here, so you need a socket and probably a 4 to 6 inch adapter there to get you out a little farther away from that guard there. Now usually I would put a brand new belt on every time I change an alternator, but this belt was literally a couple weeks old, so I just reused the belt. And for tension, I like it, you know, about yay tight. You want to be able to move it, but you don't want to be sloppy. For changing this alternator, I'm just going to, oh, I usually disconnect the battery before I do an alternator here too, just to back up a little bit. Take these two wires off, take your bolt out down here, hold on to the alternator, and take this bolt out here. It'll just drop right off into your hand here, or actually use this hand, pull it out, and swap your pulley over. So here's why I bought that extra pulley. Here's the old alternator right here, and if you're doing this in a truck stop, wherever, side of the road, these pulleys can sometimes be a bear to get off. You see this one's pretty doggone rusted. It's probably been on there a very long time. I'll tell you what, I just buy a new pulley. They're 20 bucks, put it on there. When I get this one home, I'll take the pulley off and I'll have it ready to go on the next alternator that I need. And save myself a bunch of time. I don't have to carry like a gear puller or something trying to mess around and get this pulley off. I'm all about just getting it done. I don't mind having a few spare parts. Then I got myself one extra pulley. anytime I need one, I got a whole new alternator ready to go for 20 bucks. So that's the way I like to do it. Here's that big hole in the top. Here's where our bolt went on the bottom, in the middle hole here, and I'll show you why after a while. And here's just our two pins that we used for the back. This is a 70 amp alternator, 14 volt. Here's the part number right here, 30-01114-03. It did have an updated part number for the new alternator. There was some updates, so I got the updated version. All we do to put it back in is I put that top bolt in and then line it up here with the bottom one, and then you can push this alternator back and forth. It'll pivot. Just don't tighten your top bolt all the way, leave it slightly loose, and you pivot the bottom of the alternator here. That's how you get your belt tension. You get it to where you want it, and then you tighten both bolts down. Quick side note, this might be a good time to introduce a new sponsor, finditparts.com. They contacted me the other day, and they're actually such a new sponsor. It's only been one day. Finditparts.com. They have all the parts you need, mostly for trucks, trailers, safety gear, stuff like that, different kinds of equipment. OEM. You can search by part number. You can get OEM or aftermarket. It's kind of nice to find a place you can get OEM parts online. eBay, Amazon, I've had hits and misses on there, but they got OEM parts on here, as well as aftermarket. Use promo code DIYSemi20. You get $20 every order, off of every order over 200 bucks, and free shipping over 100 bucks, no hassle returns. And guess what? When you call, talk to somebody, you'll be talking to somebody in America. It's one of the qualifications to be any kind of a sponsor with me, is you got to be in America and be an American company and support American workers, American jobs. So yeah, anyway, check them out, finditparts.com, promo code DIYSemi20. Real easy job. It's one of those jobs that if you're not mechanically inclined, you don't do a lot of your own work, this is the kind of job you can do to build confidence in your abilities and just to learn a little bit. You're really not going to mess anything up. When you get that on, get it together, hook your battery back up, and I'm going to put the charger on this thing here, the battery charger on it here, to get the battery good and charged before I fire it up again. I don't think that battery is even going to be probably strong enough to fire this thing. It did run off the battery a little bit, but we'll get it back on there and be good to go. So yeah, long set of jumper cables, extra alternator with a pulley, and keep yourself out of some jams like that. Another thing on these carriers, I don't have many problems with these carrier units. Alternators, starters, and occasionally a water pump, and that's the majority of your items you run into with the carrier. And then this blue coupler down in here, which 10-15,000 hours, you probably just watch for flakes of blue stuff falling here. That's the drive that makes the engine drive the compressor over here. So that's where it transfers the power from the engine to this compressor, and that blue coupler is part of that drive pulley in there. So with the Thermo Kings, another story. The Thermo Kings, they get a lot of different various codes. They got a lot more electronics in them. They got emissions. But I tell you what, these carriers, I really prefer these. And if you're a one truck, one trailer kind of guy, and you're pulling a carrier unit, I used to, when I just had one trailer, keep an alternator and a starter with me, and really not worry too much after that. But now that it's multiple trailers and different kinds, I'm not going to go through all that. But I am going to be prepared for when this happens. Keep your belts good. These you can see these belts are very new here. Like I said, this one was brand new, not brand new, very, very new before I changed the alternator. So it's pretty good. All right, so battery's charged, alternator is changed. We fired it up here, green light. I'm going to run a pre-trip on this thing before I go ahead and put her back in service. It's going to cycle through, check the battery, check make sure the alternator is charging properly, go through everything, make sure we don't get any alarms, and we'll be good to go. Put this baby back on the road for So like I said, all in 274 bucks. That included alternator pulley and that hinge pin for the door. There was no core charge on the alternator, so I don't have to take the old one back. Other than that, we're good to go. If you like this kind of thing, hit the like button, subscribe.